Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Out of Bounds podcast, episode 18. We are almost at that 20 episode mark. Incredible. Well, we're back with the video I promised on Wednesday. The video in which I know this has been 2 weeks in a row that Matt gets to talk about Jameis again.
Every day
Which
is a good day to talk about Jameis.
No, it's not. And by the end of this episode, you're going to agree that Jalen Hurts is better than Jameis Winston. Are you ready? Do you want to present first, or shall I present my
No,
case
I don't know.
first?
I'd like to hear what you are, because I'm intrigued. Because
All right.
I know you're not a Jalen Hurts supporter. So
Well, I think he is a decent quarterback. He's not a franchise QB, is what I'm trying to say. I think he could win maybe one or two playoff games. Depends on the team, depending the cast around him. I would love to see him take a huge step this season, but I don't know if he's going to do that. He has been improving throughout the last season, but he kind of died in that Tampa Bay playoff game. He was terrible. That was some of the worst QB work I've seen in a long time. I could say that about. Although Jameis would not have done any better. All right. So.
okay, fine. That's how we gonna play.
Yeah. So, by the way, this kind of stuff is just I've been so for the audience that doesn't know about what this video is today, basically I'm gonna be presenting the argument that Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Jameis Winston, while Matt will be presenting the opposite argument. And by the way, you can always if you have something to dispute when I say something, always jump in, Matt. Then we can start an argument about that. But yeah, so let's get started. By the way, audio's been fixed. There was a person that commented in the last episode saying mono audio. I have noticed it. I've been trying to fix it, and I finally fixed it. So there you go. Audio is better. For all of you that probably hated it, I hated it myself. I was like, I gotta fix this thing, and I finally found the solution. So yeah. All right. Are you ready, Matt, for me to start my argument? Or are you sure you don't want to go first?
I would love to hear your argument.
Alright, so. This is within the first 8 weeks, because I'm not going to include stats when Jalen was still playing while Jameis isn't. So, obviously, Jameis has a little injury problem. Alright, so Jameis Winston, in the 8 weeks, threw for 15 touchdowns. Well, no, he threw for 14 touchdowns. I'm going to combine it, his rushing and passing touchdowns together. So that's 15 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. And he threw for 1,170 yards. Jalen, also combining the rushing and passing touchdowns, had 15 TDs and 4 interceptions with 1,819 yards. So Jalen did throw one more touchdown than Jameis during that span, but he also threw for more. He threw 649 yards more than Jameis Winston. So you're probably like, okay, so he did throw. So Jalen did throw for one extra interception, but he also threw for about 650 yards more than Jameis. But then you might be thinking to yourself, all right, well, who faced the better teams during that span? All right, so within those 8 weeks, Jameis Winston played against 3 playoff teams. He played against Green Bay, New England, and the Bucs. Meanwhile, Jalen played 5 playoff teams in that 8-week span, which was, I don't know off the top of my head, I believe it was 49ers, Dallas, Tampa Bay, Raiders, Kansas City. Yeah, those were the 5. So, right there. Do you have anything to dispute so far, Matt? So obviously Jalen faced the better teams.
Okay, so you're saying playoff teams, but why don't you go off defensive ranking?
Defensive ranking? That would
Yeah.
probably help Jalen in this case, Matt.
Why? Who? Like who? Like.
Hmm?
Mm.
I didn't write down the defensive stuff because we are comparing against quarterbacks, Matt. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Meanwhile, so you can't even dispute that that Jalen faced the better teams because 5 of the 8 teams he played went to the playoffs. Meanwhile, Jameis, only 3 of the teams he played went to the playoffs. So it's literally nothing you can dispute. Jalen faced better teams. I don't know why you're trying to bring defense into it. All right.
Because what defense did they face?
What do you mean with the? Oh, I told you the teams that each of them faced.
Repeat though.
So Jameis, he played against Green Bay, New England Patriots, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Meanwhile, Jalen faced off against 49ers, Dallas, uh, Raiders, Tampa Bay, Bucks, and what was the other team? Oh, Kansas City Chiefs. So obviously they played against It doesn't even matter. So he played against 2 more playoff teams than Jameis did already from during those weeks when they were both playing their games. I really wish Jameis didn't get injured, so then
Are you
Jalen could have
including?
destroyed the Saints with
Are
him
you including
playing.
the game where he started and then got injured?
Yeah,
Oh, the
I
like oh that game where he threw like what 58 yards or something.
don't know that specific game stats. Regardless, all right, let's go on.
I don't think it is.
What do you mean?
I wouldn't say it's regardless.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. In
Well,
that
he threw
game,
56 yards.
all right, Jalen didn't do much else because that week, while Jameis played against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jalen faced off against the Lions, and me and you both know what happened in that game. He barely threw the ball at all. All we did was hand it off to Jordan Howard and Boston Scott, who just got rushing touchdowns. Jalen didn't have a single rushing or passing TD during that time. He threw for maybe 100 yards, and that's it. So, do you have any? So you just went silent because you
Why?
know.
He
Because
threw 40 more yards.
okay, bruh, big deal, 40 yards. I bet Jameis was passing more than Jalen was that week. All right. Now during this time, so
Hold it.
huh?
Oh.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
What was that noise you made?
It was the sounds
The sound of a creature dying.
of silence.
A creature dying. Matt's soul died hearing that Jalen is better than Jameis. Alright. Poor throw percentage. This is a fun little thing that Pro Football Focus has provided with us. So, man, I'm gonna have to do a little guessing game. Who had a higher percentage of throwing worse passes? Meaning not on target at all. Like, these are terrible passes. Who had the higher percentage of throwing worse passes?
Well, I think the only reason that you're including this would be because Daniel Jones.
We're talking about Jameis and Jalen.
Am I wrong?
Daniel Jones probably did have a higher percentage than both of them. But yeah, we're talking about Jameis Winston and Jalen Hurts. Alright, I'm just saying it. Jameis Winston, 21.7%. Jalen Hurts, 14%. An extra 7.7% more of Jameis's passes were not on target. But then you probably think, well, also that doesn't include drops. So that's just bad passes alone. Like, they're not on target to their intended receiver. So, Matt, you may be saying, well, here's the thing. I'm gonna try to do a Dr. Phil voice because you kind of remind me of Dr. Phil. Here's the thing. You see,
What do you mean by that?
Jalen had better receivers in Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert, whereas Jameis Winston, he didn't really have tight ends or wide receivers. Okay. That actually kind of turned into the guy from South Park. What was that teacher's name? Mr. I don't know the name. It
I
was
don't know
the
what
guy
the hell is going on here.
Alright, but regardless, so Matt, I will say that I think Jalen did have the better receivers. Jalen, like, these are passes on target. His receivers dropped the ball more than Jameis did. There was 11 drops in that 8-week span. Meanwhile, for Jameis, there were 10 drops in that 8-week span. So, I mean, that's all I have right now. I probably could have done more in depth if we were given more time, but you were like, nah, let's give each other like 10 minutes, go. And that was like all I could find. Because Matt's on such a tight schedule, he's like, I'm going to the Phillies game tonight. I gotta go. We gotta do this fast.
I mean, am I wrong? No.
It doesn't
I'm
start
not
for
wrong.
another
Okay.
4 hours.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you know, I'm not gonna come up here and be like the biggest man of science and be like,
the biggest man of science. This is all based on data. Who did better?
Who did better?
And we're also gonna say, who do we think in the future is gonna be better?
I wonder who.
From past data, it seems like Jalen. Younger, more time to progress. He's got a whole future ahead of him.
He has a future.
Yeah.
Like,
wait, a whole future and a future is the exact same thing.
Sure.
What is this man even saying? What the hell are you even talking about? You lost your mind. You lost your goddamn mind, Charlie.
Okay, this has just been derailed.
It's a funny quote for all of you. All right, continue what you were saying. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, you know, I'm not a big, you know, I'm an average NFL fan, Joe. I love sitting on the couch doing nothing, watching the game.
All right, so now you're stealing from It's Always
Just
Sunny.
like all of you at home. I'm not some NFL analyst. I'm not getting paid for this. I don't get paid to watch football. I don't get paid to watch football, you know, though I would love to in the future, you know, Fox, CBS, ESPN, hit us up.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah,
I would love that.
hit us up. I'm willing to, you know, do something, yeah, do some collabs.
ESPN also, I think you just said Fox and CBS, also NBC. You need someone to replace Al Michaels. I'm right here. I'm actually a pretty good commentator. Yeah. If you need someone for Thursday night, Amazon, hit us up.
Didn't they get, like...
I think they don't have anyone yet, because...
Oh, they got them right now.
Nah, Troy and Joe went to Monday night, ESPN. Also, now that you're probably just going to be bumping up Greg Olsen to the primetime games, Fox, you're going to need someone to fill that 1 o'clock spot. We're right here. Alright, enough begging networks. Continue with what you were going to say.
Okay, you know, John, name the receivers on the Saints that played.
Harris, Traquan Smith, Alvin Kamara. He's a dual threat receiving / running back, so he's also one of them. Yeah, those are all the ones I can. I think wasn't there one that's name was Callaway, right?
Yes,
All right,
there
so
was.
that's three receivers and the running back who basically acts like who is because here's the thing, our running backs aren't really receiving backs, but Alvin Kamara is because he's great.
I say Miles Sanders is.
Yeah, but Miles was basically out most of the season, bruh. He was like almost non-existent. People were talking about Jordan Howard more than they were talking about Miles Sanders.
Because he was back.
You think Jordan Howard's better than Miles Sanders? They're two different running backs. One's a power back, one's a elusive back. Continue with what you were saying.
Okay. You know,
I'm sorry. What was that? What is this, bruh?
what is it?
All credibility we just gave to all those networks, you just diminished, Matt. This is the type of stuff that we're
John.
unpredictable. That's what the viewers want to see.
Yeah, that you know, throw a little curveball. Anyway, John, do you happen to know how many drops this dual threat running back of yours had?
No, I can't say off the top of my head. We're
He had
talking
9.
this past season. You're telling me he had 9 of those 10 drops? I refuse to believe it.
What do you mean 9 of those 10?
Are you talking about season long?
I indeed.
All right, that just cuts off the point. We're talking about the Jameis throws, Matt. You're talking about like, he had 9 drops. This man had Ian Book and Trevor Siemian thrown to him during those times. I want to talk about the first 8 weeks.
You know, I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm just like I'm like a man. I love. I forgot what Charlie does during the thing.
You're trying to say what Mac did.
Mac, yeah.
Mac.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
You mixing up Mac and Charlie? Those characters are completely different, man. Also, I don't think they want to hear us talking about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia this whole time.
Maybe they will. Maybe they should. Okay. Anyway.
Shout out to It's Always Sunny.
You know, I'm a man of. Yeah. Anyway. So. Okay, you know, you might look at this and be like, yeah, Jalen Hurts is better.
Let's record that he said Jalen Hurts is better.
I said you may look at this and go, oh, Jalen Hurts is better, you know.
I mean, I provided stats to back that up.
Let's talk about realism, not the painting form.
Painting? I just provided stats that actually happened. What do you mean this isn't realism?
John, can you name Jameis Winston's first 2 head coaches?
In the Bucs, he didn't start with Bruce Arians. Was Bruce Arians his second head coach or his third?
No. It was his third.
Well, he wasn't able to flourish under Bruce Arians, the QB guru. I wonder who could. Yeah, with that 1 year, Bruce Arians was like, this man's unfixable. Let me go get a person that can actually throw the ball, and he got Tom Brady. Yeah.
Interesting.
Are you going to say that Jameis is better than Brady? Let me give you a little.
I've said many things already, and I'm not gonna go back now. Okay.
Here's the thing: the year after they moved off Jameis, they barely changed the roster. They brought in. Okay, they did. They barely changed the roster. I'm sorry, that's actually wrong. They did bring in Gronk, but I mean, let's look at the receivers. Jameis.
They brought in Kristen Wirfs. They brought in the defense. They brought in Tom Brady. They brought in Antonio Brown.
Okay,
Yeah, but
Antonio
no.
Brown came in like mid-season, bro. Come on now. But here's the
Okay, John,
thing.
for that one
The
year he
year...
had with the one.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
Can I just say?
What were you saying?
Can I just say? Okay.
You know,
The
the
one
year
year.
they moved off Jameis Winston, they won a Super
No, guys.
Bowl.
Okay, you can start following me on my solo podcast called "We Hate John" from the Out of Bounds podcast because he doesn't let us speak. That
Continue.
one year, the one year that Jameis Winston had with Bruce Arians, the coach guru, he led the league in passing yards.
He also led the league in interceptions.
So,
What do you mean
you gonna say?
so?
John, do you know who has the most career interceptions?
I don't know. Maybe Drew Brees? Brett Favre?
It's Brett Favre.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Brett Favre also won Super Bowls. Did Jameis? No. That shut
Are
him
you
up real
attacking my?
fast.
Are you
What?
challenging my dummy?
Why are you saying all these stupid quotes when it has nothing to do with Jameis Winston?
John,
You're just grasping at straws here because of the stats just prove that Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Jameis Winston.
I'm not a man of stats. You know, I'm just a man that loves simple football, and I'm a man that knows.
Okay, that's fine. You
Knows
don't
the
have...
truth.
What? What'd you say?
Jameis Winston. You know, he was taught wrong all those years
Oh
by
my
those
god.
coaches. He never really got to. They never
If he
really
was
told.
taught wrong by all those coaches, then how could he not flourish under Sean Payton or Bruce Arians, both good head coaches?
He did.
What do you mean? He didn't under Bruce Arians. He led the league in interceptions. He threw almost just as many interceptions as he did touchdowns. That'd be a 1-on-1 ratio, which is a terrible ratio for a TD to interception.
L plus ratio.
Huh?
Beat him. He's done.
What?
L plus ratio. You're done.
What are you even saying? I'm bringing up facts, stats, everything, and all you are saying is like, no, wrong. Like, bruh, no, these are actual stats. These is stuff that's been accumulated over all this time. I've never bet, in all of this time of the podcast, Matt, I have never heard more insanity come from your mouth.
Wait, cut out there. I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Can you hear me now? Do you
now
remember that commercial? The guy was
I
on
can now.
Verizon and he's like, "Can you hear me now?" Then he went to Sprint and was like, "Can you hear me now?" Yo, Verizon or Sprint, T-Mobile, you guys wanna hire me? I'd be a great person. Like, my voice is so recognizable. Everyone on this podcast is like, I'll do some commercials for you.
Is this like legit?
Alright. Enough self-promotion. This guy says, so, Matt, you said, I'm just a simple man that likes football. I'm not a stats guy. You don't have to be a stats guy. You can be a guy that likes football and argue with me. However, your argument becomes less valid when you look at the stats in which Jalen did better than Jameis Winston this past season. And that is the whole debate of today's conversation. Who is a better quarterback right now and who will be the better quarterback going forward? And it seems to me that Jalen is the guy in both those categories. And if you don't really have much information to back up your point about Jameis Winston, it seems that I've won this argument. And maybe all this time where you're going like Jameis for MVP, it should really be Jalen for MVP. Or if we both want to be real, we could say Josh Allen or Justin Herbert for MVP, or someone who has a much better shot at winning because they've shown much more potential than both of these two quarterbacks. I think I killed him. Oh.
I was just wow. Okay.
Have I killed? Are you gonna stop talking about Jameis from now on? Did I
No.
defeat the demon?
No.
All right.
He had no one.
No one.
Just
no
wait.
one.
I don't even. Jameis Winston. Okay, let me go on. Let me go on a little monologue here.
All right.
John.
Let's hear it.
And if I hear many interruptions, watch it off.
All right, fine. I will hold all my interruptions until the end of your monologue. This
Okay.
better not be some monologue you stole from a movie or TV show, though.
No, I didn't. This is off the top of my head.
All right.
This is real. This is real. Because I'm real, like the viewers.
Like you're one of those You're like in one of those truck commercials where you're like, "I'm a real American. That's why I drive a Ford."
Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
All right, go on with your monologue.
Okay, ladies, gentlemen, the jury. You know me. I'm a Jameis Winston and Josh Allen lover. And you might be thinking to yourself, no, why? Why do you like Jameis Winston so much? And that question, I don't know. I can't point to the time in my life that I said, yes, he will. I just know that Jameis Winston next year is going to prove these haters, especially John, when he comes on after winning MVP and comeback player of the year. He's going to come on here and be like, yeah, thank you, Matt, for supporting all this time. How would you like to go to the Super Bowl? Watch me in the Super Bowl. And I'd be like, of course. And he's like, not John, though, because he always doubted me. Now, Jameis Winston's not. You're not going to look at the stats and be like, oh my God, he has so much passing yards and so much little interceptions. And he has so much. He has so little. He's just got so many little all in there. Let me tell you all this. Jalen Hurts. Who here watched the playoffs? Who here saw him miss wide open receivers every single opportunity he had? And the time when Devonta Smith was wide open in the end zone and he threw it to him and it got picked off because he did the worst possible throw. I saw that. Now, playoffs statistically, Jameis Winston has 0 incompletions, and he has an average of 75 yard passing attempts because he is a real American man, just like you and me. He was drafted first overall, which, some argue might have been a mistake. But I argue that you want to know why he was first overall? Because he was great. And you may look and be like, oh, well, he was so bad. He was with the Bucs. Who did they have? No one. They had Mike Evans. And that was it. Offensive line-wise, nothing. Eagles' offensive line last year, whoa. That's incredible. It was, ooh. It was great. Now, you might know Jameis Winston from stealing crab legs and $11 crab legs or something, I think it was. Wait, let me look. Okay. He stole some $8 crab legs. Because who here doesn't like crab legs? Not me. Not you. It was $32 worth. He, and I quote, was very cooperative and seemed fairly honest in the fact that he did not pay for the item, so it was not a huge mystery to solve. I'm confident he will complete his community service obligation and the situation will soon be resolved. And it was a Publix. I don't know why he stole $32 worth from a Publix. It's because he's an American, just like you and me. You want to quiet down there? I'm not done. Now what is Jalen Hurts showing up? Nothing really. John has come on here and said he wants to move on from him. And I have said I want to move off from him. But you want to know why? Because he's like, oh, I got legs. I can run. And yes, I did use a baby voice. But is Jalen Hurts really the man that you want to lead your organization? No. You want an American that says $32 for some crab legs. That's way overpriced. And he is a man of dedication. He is a team leader. He can hype them up. Do you know who eats those W's? Jameis Winston. There are plenty clips of him in the huddle. And did I not mention that he is a hilarious guy? He is an American just like you and me. Now, he is being destroyed. His reputation from John just because he had an okay opening to the season and then got injured with a horrible receiving core and a team that honestly could have done better. And I was just getting a spam call. Hold up. Okay. I'm back. And now Jameis Winston. Oh, I had something so important that I was going to say that was going to be like, oh.
Are you done?
Jameis. No, I got one more thing. Just let it soak in. You know, he is a man. Did I also fail to mention that he won the Heisman Trophy for a reason? Did Jalen Hurts win the Heisman Trophy? No. Because he didn't deserve it. And I tell you that if Jameis Winston was thrown into this situation like Jalen Hurts, he would have had better success. End of speech. Jameis is the GOAT. Comeback Player of the Year campaign coming up.
Are you finished?
If you quote Joker, I'm gonna. You're not. I'm gonna leave.
There's so much self-pity, Matt. It seems like you're making excuses for rooting for Jameis Winston. All right. Anyway, time to destroy everything you just kind of mentioned there about Jameis. All right, so I don't even know where to start because you talked a lot. Where do I even start? So, not only do you think Jameis Winston's going to win Comeback Player of the Year, but you think the Saints are going to go to the Super Bowl. And not only do you think both of those things, but you think Jameis Winston is going to mention you in his speech after winning Comeback Player of the Year, and he's going to be inviting you to the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
They're not going to go to they're not going to go to the Super Bowl. He's not going to win a Comeback Player of the Year. That's honestly that may happen, although I think Carson Wentz should win it already. But also, you mentioned what?
No.
Yes. Okay, talking Ben. Here's the thing. You were like, oh my gosh, that Eagles offensive line? Bruh, the Saints offensive line was probably better than the Eagles offensive line this past season. My man, Lane Johnson, left tackle, missed more, I think it was more than half the season because he was battling mental problems. My man, the right guard, Brandon Brooks, went down with injury in week 2, missed the rest of the season. Teron Armstead? Ryan, Jim's, I don't even know how to say his last name. Eric McCoy? I mean, I don't watch the Saints every week, so I don't know if they did stay healthy the entire season. but I think they played most of their games. So, right there, I mean, that argument about the offensive line is off the table. Now, you're also saying, what you were trashing Jalen Hurts about what he did in the playoffs. Where was Jameis Winston and his team in the playoffs? Oh, they didn't make it. The Saints didn't get the wild card for the NFC. The Eagles did. Huh?
Was he playing most of
That
the season?
even proves my point. Jameis, it looks like, can't stay healthy if he tore a muscle in his ankle. Was it? I don't think it's. He tore his knee.
He tore his ACL.
I thought I mentioned the ACL earlier on the podcast, and you said no. I swore it was ACL. Then you're like, nah, I looked it up. It wasn't. And I was like, oh, okay.
No, it's ACL.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Regardless.
But I never said it wasn't.
Oh my gosh. It must have been off the podcast. I could have sworn you were the one that was like, it wasn't ACL, but I thought it was his ACL.
Not me.
The whole offensive line thing. And also, Jameis was a starter for many years, and he had a good team around him. He's had Chris Godwin. He's had Mike Evans, and they still didn't make the playoffs. Chris Godwin for 2 years. Okay, that's 2 years. That's 2 years more than Jalen had a Chris Godwin-like receiver. Also, Chris Evans.
Jameis Winston was also 5 for 2 this season, while Jalen Hurts was 3 for 5.
Also, Jalen Hurts faced off against better teams, so I mean.
Okay, but
what else did you mention? No. I'm trying to think in that entire monologue. You kept saying he's an American like you and me. Matt is being discriminatory to our international viewers. He thinks that everyone that watches this podcast is just an American. That's not true. That we definitely have some international viewers out there. There will be international viewers watching this episode. I am sure of it. All right. So, you also mentioned that this guy got caught for crab legs. I don't know what this even has to do with the conversation, but did you say he stole from Publix?
He walked out with $32 worth of crab legs out of Publix.
I thought Publix was just a clothing shop. I didn't know they sold food. Publix is just down south, I believe. Okay. Because there's no Publix here.
There's a Publix around here.
There is?
Definitely is.
Okay, there's no Publix around me. Alright.
Okay, the nearest Publix is in Virginia, so I'm a bit off.
Like I said, down south. Anyway. So this man has been...
Virginia.
We're talking about who's a better person. This man was caught with stealing stuff. Jalen Hurts, he wasn't caught with stealing stuff. My man Jalen Hurts, he's a good person. He is a good man. Also, you were talking about he was a Heisman Trophy winner. All right, I'll give it to you. Who was another quarterback that probably could have won it? Oh, just, I don't know. Marcus Mariota, who we've seen is not that great of a quarterback, and he's just a bridge quarterback right now. He's currently on the Falcons. He was on the Raiders before that, and then before that, he's like a guy that's just keep moving around. All right. But who are some people that were against Jalen Hurts in his draft class? Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. Yet, with all those good quarterbacks, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, there's some more out there. Jordan Love, those guys were all drafted in the first round. Those are just, I don't think Jordan Love was even considered for the Heisman. But even though with those two good quarterbacks in there, Jalen Hurts was still a finalist in winning the Heisman Trophy. Interesting. Very interesting. Obviously, it went to the right person in Joe Burrow. I mean, maybe Justin Herbert could have won it, but he didn't. No one really knew who he was at that point. So, I guess that's all I have to argue with your whole monologue and speech there. Anything you want to? Should we close out the podcast, or do you want to argue a little bit more about Jalen Hurts and Jameis Winston?
We'll see.
We'll see.
Unless these rumors are true that the Saints are going to make a big mistake.
Ooh, the Saints could draft a quarterback. Maybe as a Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis if they're still on the board. Maybe there'll be surprise quarterback with Desmond Rattler or Matt Carl. Maybe one of them go first round. It doesn't. I don't know. They go
What are you
down
doing?
one. We don't know. I don't know. That
Are
was my
you
French
okay?
accent. I don't know. I just randomly switched to that accent. I have no idea why. Maybe it's because I was talking about that Hercule Poirot movie earlier, Death on the Nile. Do you remember when we saw that?
I do remember seeing that.
Yeah. Anyway. So we get to close. We're gonna close this one out. We agree Jalen Hurts is better than Jameis Winston. All right, cool. Thank you for everyone that watched this. Like I said, follow us. If you have anything you would want to hear us talk about, you can either comment it on YouTube or you can email us at johnnoobp@gmail.com. You can just ask us any question there or anything at all, really. And we will probably bring it up on the podcast. So that is it. That is the end of this episode. Like I said, make sure to follow us and give us good ratings on wherever you watch this, and we will see you in the next episode of the Out of Bounds podcast. See ya.